My name's Michael Pryor, and in this section we'll be looking at corporate social responsibility. And corporate social responsibility falls under the organisation vision, values, mission and goals section of our strategic development model. So corporate social responsibility is a concept whereby companies integrate social and environmental concerns into their business operations and in their interactions with stakeholders on a voluntary basis. It's a combination of business and society. So why is there increased interest in CSR? Firms have globalized, activists, NGOs, media has raised different issues in terms of corporate social responsibility. There's now limits of government regulations and initiatives. Consumers and investors are now showing more interest in corporate social responsibility and also in responsible business practices, and the emergence of rankings and rating systems for corporate social responsibility. There's also opportunities to reduce business risk and enhance your brand. So this is important, and many corporations now have CSR officers. So who are the stakeholders in corporate social responsibility? So recognize that all stakeholders first have a strategic or moral stake. Each is guided by their own interests and values, and the need to balance the needs of stakeholders and the viability of a firm. So there's a balancing action here. Internally, you have employees, managers, and owners. Externally, you have suppliers, customers, creditors, governments, society, and stakeholders. So it's a balancing between the internal and external section of the organization. So different CRS models. The 5-star model, of course, if we look at this, is how do you create value through CSR? The purpose, of course, is to have innovative operations and strategies that promote a sustainable business model. And it's got to have a fundamental strategic and operational impact. And some of the benefits are shared value, promotes competitiveness and innovation, promotes sustainable business models, integrates business into the community, develops human capital, and incorporated into the business strategy, it will add value. The other two models, which are, again, this is as we move back in time, you've got CSR as risk management. So this is the compliance part of it. So it mitigates operational impact, operational risks, and supports external relationships. So this is compliance in terms of government and local regulations, in terms of your board regulations, in terms of different industry regulations. If we go down to this 2-star part of this, CSR as corporate philanthropy, this is providing funding and skills. This was the older way of looking at CSR models maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So this is sponsorships, it provides short-term benefits which are not always sustainable, provides limited funds, dilutes the budget. It doesn't really add value to the organization, makes them look good on a very short term, but doesn't add value over the long term. So basic actions are operate in an honourable manner, provide good working conditions for employees, be a good steward of the environment, and actively work for a better quality of life in local communities where it operates and in society at large. So what we've found that's starting to happen now in the last 5 or 10 years is that organizations are starting to look to their local communities and how can they work with those communities to add value. So CSR involves corporate governance and ethics, health and safety, environmental stewardship, human rights, community involvement, development and investment, corporate philanthropy, supplier relations, and supply chains. So if you look at what it involves in terms of actions, goals, and indicators, the first one we've got there is it needs to create value. And the goal is economic development. And you do this through capital investment, beneficial products, inclusive business. The next one would be good governance. That makes sure that the institution is effective through leadership, transparency, and ethical conduct. Social contribution in terms of actions. That's really stakeholder orientation as well, with the many stakeholders that organizations have through philanthropy, fair labor practice, and supply chain integrity. And then finally, environmental integrity, sustainable ecosystems through ecosystem protection, renewable resources, and zero waste production. So these are the basics of what CSR involves. And you may think about this in terms of your own organization or the one that you'll be consulting to. So potential benefits of CSR: better management of all kinds of risks, improved reputation and brand management, enhanced ability to recruit, develop and retain staff, improved competitiveness and market position, and enhanced operational efficiency and cost savings. Again, one of the good examples here is Tom's Shoes. You buy a pair of shoes, they give away a pair of shoes. And that has increased their business tenfold since they've come out with this methodology. So CSR as value creation. Better opportunities for supply chain relationships, ability to address change, social license to operate in a community, in a local community, access to capital, improved relations with regulators, and especially on a local basis in terms of working with local governments, local communities, local cities. If you work and support the local society, you're going to get a much more value-oriented relationship with that community. So questions. How does CSR add value to an organization? If you have the opportunity to plan and implement a CSR project, what would you do? And you can think about this both on a local basis, a national basis, or a global basis. So please think about that and what you would do if you had no restrictions at all.